It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, also known as Sheree, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas, and we have wonderful guests. And tonight, my guest is Terry Campy. We had him on almost a year ago. He's a pastor, an international trainer, public speaker, and a multi-million-dollar earner in direct selling industry, and author of Network King, and also something on the biblical principles on how and why to build your network. So that being said, we're going to talk a little bit more today too about the vagus nerve, and it's the 10th cranial nerve that originates in the brainstem, goes down the neck into the chest and the abdomen, and branches out to major organs, which is why it's extremely important. And some of the products that we are talking about are products that actually help to stimulate this particular nerve. So let me bring Terry on, and he can speak about this with much greater authority than I can. So welcome, Terry.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm fascinated by all these new products and some of the results people are getting.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing, and we've learned a lot since I was on last. I can't believe it's been almost a year, but
yeah, I know.
A lot in that time.
I was I had some experience where a couple of people that had tried the products and they didn't really feel anything, but that doesn't mean that there isn't anything happening from what I'm understanding from the people that have been being followed. Maybe you could touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Yeah. So, we when we launched what we call Phix is the product we call it, but what it is a matured hop bitter acid and purified water. That's what's in here. And so the matured hop bitter acid is really important for people to really understand. If anybody wants to go do research, they should do the right research. Matured hop bitter acid. It's a specific extract that comes out of the flower of the hop plant, the same things that makes beer. It's those hops, but it's a very specific extract. So what it does, believe it or not, in the human body is nothing. However, what it is starts the body's God-given response system to a bitter acid entering the body. And this is what we've recognized over the last year. We got white papers on this. We've got researchers who have done studies of nearly 1,000 clients that have been on Phix from anywhere from 6 months to 15 months. So we know, what we had a year ago or so when I was on before, we were learning it, but we were kind of on trial. We are not on trial now. We know exactly what's going on. So that vagus nerve impacts a lot of things in the human body.
It's amazing. Terry, I used to work on the gastrointestinal ward many, many years ago as a nutritionist. They used to cut, I remember there were a few patients where they wanted to cut, they were going to cut the vagus nerve. I'm going,
that's a bad idea.
Yeah, that's just a bad idea. Exactly.
It controls 1,100 processes in the body. I don't know how you're gonna.
I know. As I was reading about it more, I'm going, holy smokes! I remember when they were going to do that. Oh my God! But anyway, that being said, how is it that these products do that?
So what they do ultimately, Gail, is when the bitter acid enters, you have something called bitter receptors in your tongue, esophagus,
is that the actual
and small intestine.
Taste of bitter?
Most poisons have a bitter taste to them. So if you've ever had food, have you ever had food poisoning?
No, I haven't. I'm lucky.
Oh, man, you're lucky. Anybody that's watching that's had food poisoning knows exactly how bitter receptors work. And because it's got stuff coming out both ends, because something dangerous has entered the body and the body knows it. And it was funny because I was having something, my wife had cheese and had been around for a while. And I tried it one night and it was in my, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. My bitter receptors are going, do not
Bing,
eat.
bing, 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 bing. Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good. But sometimes we eat it, it gets down to our esophagus, and then a lot of times it gets to the gut, and that's when it starts to really percolate. And so, so those bitter receptors are put there so that the body recognizes when something dangerous, a poison, enters. Well, this being a bitter acid, the bitter receptors actually respond. That's what's so amazing. So those get activated. They send a signal to something called the brown adipose tissue. And that's your good fat. Everybody's got good, everybody's got bad fat. But brown adipose tissue is what gets activated when people do a cold plunge, an ice bath. The body temperature plummets. And so then the body wants to heat up because it's sensing it's going to die. BAT is what gets activated. So that sends a signal to the brain through the vagus nerve back down to the body. So it starts to activate the vagus nerve. And the same thing happens when we take this in. BAT gets activated, sends a signal to the brain through the vagus nerve. That starts to recruit the bad fat, the visceral fat that we have hanging around our organs, and it burns that up in the process of analyzing this bitter acid that has just entered the body. And it does it every single time because the body is wired that way. Then what happens? So the body stops analyzing this, or starts to analyze this substance. It quickly realizes this is not a poison. So it's like, okay, let it in. Everything is okay. You know, all the cells are like, okay, it's okay. And now the body moves into the parasympathetic state. That is huge. Rest and digest. And I would encourage your listeners, please go look to see what the vagus nerve does in the body. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking, can I share? If I can
Please
share
do.
my screen, allow to
Yeah, you
share
should be able
window.
to.
Okay, how do I do this? Did I do that right or wrong?
What I was saying, they were considering it the master switch for healing.
Yep, it is, because it's the vagus nerve. That's why it's not this that does the healing. It's the body that does its own healing. The thing is, this starts the process. That's what's so unique about all this. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. How am I do this? What am I doing
Okay,
here?
push the share screen, and
Yeah,
then
let
you'll
me.
look at all the different windows that are open, and you pick the window that you want to bring up.
How do I do this? It's not working. Off small. That's not presenter view overlay. And I'm not getting this. Okay, well, I'll press H. I'm going to try this one more time, but if not, I can just talk through it. Anyway, what I did, that's okay. I just went to Google. That's what I did. I went to Google and said, hey, unable to share screen. Okay, oh, there we go. That's why. Nope, not working. Share the screen. Okay, can I? Okay, allow to
it said shared screen. Wait a minute. Let me see. Yeah, wait a
Yeah.
minute. It'll come. I'll get it up. There we go.
Okay. So can I? Okay, allow to share screen. Okay. Are you seeing? Yes. Okay, what's going on over here? Oh boy. Okay, it's not working. It's okay. It's just taking time. It's all good. So, so anyway, long story short. Okay, the parasympathetic, the rest and digest state is really important. So the biggies, your vagus nerve controls your heart, your lungs, and your whole digestive system. So as an example, all autoimmune issues are from the gut. Well, if you move the vagus nerve out of the sympathetic, the fight or flight, which most people live in, if they're stressed out or overweight, they spend the majority of their day in fight or flight. And it keeps them unhealthy. You probably know this from your time in the GI, the medical field there.
Yeah.
This is a major issue for people, and they have no idea that they keep themselves unhealthy. If we can move the vagus nerve, activate the parasympathetic nerve, and move people into rest and digest, that starts to move the heart, lungs, digestive system, and the other 1,097 different processes that the vagus nerve controls into what's called homeostasis, the way it's supposed to operate. So now we have a gal, she was having a bowel movement twice a month. Now think about that for a second. You know
Oh
exactly
my
how horrible
God.
that can be. Twice a month, she's having a bowel movement. She took Phix, and within 2 hours, she was in the bathroom. She's texting her husband, "Oh my gosh, I pooped," you know? So, and tried it again the next day, same thing. And all of a sudden, her life got very different because all that backed up bile, whew, it's coming out, you know? So we've got these, but it's the vagus nerve. That's what's going on. It controls the digestive system. So a lot of people have, you know, the metabolic syndrome, gut health issues.
Yeah.
The brain gut connection is the vagus nerve. So if you can start to impact that and move it into rest and digest, great things happen in the human body, really good ones. It dilates the blood vessels. It slows down the heart rate. It creates more circulation, reduces inflammation. You get more mitochondria and oxygen going to the lean body mass, the muscles, the capillaries. You know, people start growing hair back because the capillaries are getting blood again. Just all these different things happen, but it's all vagus nerve related. It's been pretty amazing.
That is amazing. So the vagus nerves, as sometimes it's been called a wandering nerve. So it affects mood, sleep, and inflammation as well, doesn't it?
Yes, yes. So a lot of people sleep better. That's the number one thing we hear, because they're relaxed. That's what happens. Not because they're not. So, you know, it's not like you're in a relaxed state. Your body's relaxed because the vagus nerve is causing that to happen, because it controls, like you said, mood. A lot of people just kind of chill out, and they're not stressed anymore. That's what's such a big deal. And so now they're not kicking out cortisol into their body. They're not kicking out adrenaline, because when people are in fight or flight, that's what's happening.
Yeah, and
And
you
those are
won't lose weight then either.
exactly, it keeps you overweight, literally.
Yeah.
Literally, it does it. And so we're trying to just tell people about this all over, because this one little, we call it, I just call it a superstar, that nerve, almost no one knows what it does to the human body. And the medical community has been looking for decades for anything that would activate the parasympathetic nerve or move people into rest and digest. And they still have yet to find it. Turns out this stuff here causes the body to do exactly that. That's why it's been so
No,
amazing.
that's really amazing. And it's also really amazing when I think back to think that they were going to cut that nerve.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that
go,
would,
whoa.
on a cadaver, no problem. On a real life person,
That
that would be a
person,
problem.
terrible. I think they had ulcers or some kind of gastrointestinal problem, and they were thinking that that's going to fix that while it shuts down all these other.
That would not be good.
Yeah,
That would
it's
not
never
be
that
good.
simple. Yeah, they're great at that kind of thing. Remove it or cut it or whatever. But anyway, um, now initially this was sold like as a weight management or
Yeah.
weight
Yeah.
loss. Now I think we need to clarify that a little bit, because there's so many other benefits that are happening
Yeah.
even if you're not showing a weight loss, which I really
Yeah.
wasn't aware of at first. So people were, well, I'm not losing, I haven't lost any weight, and that kind of thing.
So we were very clear. This is fat loss. Fat
Yeah,
loss is different than weight
then
loss.
weight
And
loss,
and here,
definitely.
now let's think about this. Anybody who has ever wanted to lose weight did not want to lose weight. They wanted to lose fat, just
Yeah,
like you and me.
yeah,
It's a real thing. We
yeah,
call it weight. But here's the thing. When this process begins, remember, the good fat, the BAT, recruits bad fat, visceral fat, for this process. So it's burning up the bad fat. That's a really good thing. The thing is, just because you're burning visceral fat, you can some people start to see, they shrink, the girth, their inches. But the other thing that's happening is lean body mass is increasing, because the heart starts working better. So in my case, I dropped 5.5% body fat, but my lean body mass went up 9%, or 9 pounds. So muscle
That's
weighs
amazing.
more than fat. Yeah, so
It does.
the scale isn't going to move, even though I'm healthier.
Yeah. You
So
might see it in inches before you see it in actual difference
correct,
on the
correct.
scale.
So when we first launched this, we were talking about the fat loss, but we started hearing people say, wild things, and these are individual people's responses. Everybody's different because every body's different. But when people are saying their blood sugar is going down and their blood pressure is going down and they're sleeping better and their autoimmune issues are gone, we're like, what the heck? What is all this about? Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when we started to understand what it was doing into the vagus nerve. And all those responses we got were vagus nerve responses, not necessarily because visceral fat was being reduced, even though that's still happening. These are what I refer to as side effects. They're all benefits, but they're side benefits to
Yeah. Really.
what is happening in the body. Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing and a wonderful thing too. So what's happening is there's other physiological benefits that are occurring that are not as directly measurable. But
Correct.
isn't Dr. Ben keeping track of quite a few number of patients right now, and he's looking at the blood work and
Yes,
seeing the
exactly.
changes?
So he and his team, they have a research company that researches medical research. Don't ask me.
Yeah, okay.
He has genius IQ is 170. He
Oh
tested
my
at
God.
20. He tested at 204. So he's a
Wow.
brainiac kind of a guy, and so they do all this. So they've been monitoring close to 1,000 clients now, anywhere from 6 to 15 months, taking Phix. They've been doing blood work, saliva, DNA, stool, urine. So they've been really, truly testing. And all the people, Gail, everybody who ever does blood work when they're taking this, all the bloods tell the story. Everybody who does blood work validates what we're talking about because their blood work comes back looking great. But
What
now,
do they specifically look at in the blood, if I might ask? Do you know?
so the cholesterol levels,
Okay.
triglycerides,
Okay.
sugars.
Okay.
So these things matter. They really matter.
Yeah.
And this is why people start getting off of medications because
Oh, that's
they don't
beautiful.
need them anymore. It's massive. Are you kidding? It's massive. So, and this stuff has no contraindication with any medication whatsoever because, again, this doesn't do anything. It's what it activates that is so key. And it's because it's all natural. The body's just doing what it was designed to do. We just give it something to actually start that engine, if you
That's
will.
amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I could see if I might be able to bring it up. Um, I don't know if you can see this. It's going to be all backwards, huh?
What?
The healthy benefits,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the ultimate. Um, I was trying to bring that up. I can see if I can bring it up and share it. But I don't know if I can or not. Let me see.
Well, I want to touch on something while you're doing that because
Yeah, please do.
you said a word that's really important here, Gail. This is not magic. This is not any kind of juju juice or anything. This is biology. It's physiology. It's the body doing what it's designed to do. I just want to keep stressing that because when people, if they would just go research for a little bit and understand what the vagus nerve does, what it controls, how it works, and what the matured hop bitter acid does and kicks off in the body and how it relates to that vagus nerve, they would see why what we have works. And we have doctors, lots of doctors, naturopaths, functional medical doctors, chiropractors, all kinds of people that do their homework and are really excited about this because they know what they're looking at.
Oh, I
I see
guess,
what
are you seeing that? Yeah.
Yep, metabolic benefits. Yep.
Okay, let me see if I can move that on the page a little bit, so people can take a look at it, and this can be available.
Yeah.
Activates brown fat thermogenesis, reduces visceral fat, improves fat oxidation and lipid metabolism, improves insulin sensitivity, reduces post-meal glucose spikes, suppresses cravings and hunger signals, boosts cognitive performance. That's interesting. Reduces brain inflammation.
Yeah.
Increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That's a new one. I'd have to look that one up. Calms the I can never say that, amygdala stress circuit, improves mood and reduces irritability, lowers anxiety without sedation. It doesn't act like the SSRIs, which is a very good thing that it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should read through all of this, but it's pretty amazing. Lower CRP. Now, is that, what is that, reactive protein, C-reactive protein? Is that CRP or is that a different CRP?
I would imagine that's it, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Bitter acids. That's the one, the bitter acids. See what it says? Bitter acids suppress systemic inflammatory messengers. That's those bitter acids coming into play.
Okay, yes. Stimulates digestive enzymes. So people with digestive issues, it probably would improve that. Improves gastric motility and bloating. The people have a lot of issues with that.
This is, again, vagus nerve, gang. That's what we're looking at right here. That's why this vagus nerve is such a big deal.
It most certainly is. And here's the part where you were talking about the parasympathetic restoration. Now, I wonder why. Maybe we have been so conditioned for the sweet taste that our bitter taste just are, I don't know, they're somehow this imbalance has been created by our everything we're exposed to, including our diet. But
well, and then so look, our food supply is chock full of simple carbohydrates. And what are simple carbohydrates? They're sugars. And so when we take in simple carbs, they taste good and they're cheap. And people take a lot of them in. And because they do that, they convert to sugar in the body. Really unhealthy. And so if the faster we can get rid of that stuff, the better, because it converts to rancid fat. It's stored as rancid fat. So now you got issues. We have other products as well. Emulin 5 is an example that goes after specifically takes the 33% of the simple carbohydrates out of the body, so they don't convert to sugar and don't get stored as fat. This is just fantastic news.
That is amazing. Let me see if I can bring up that one. That's called Emulin, right?
Yeah, the Emulin 5. Yeah. It literally, if it had been discovered, it was discovered back in 2015. The team that did the research on it, they were nominated for a Nobel Prize for that work. If it had been discovered before 1994, it would right now be classified as a vitamin. But
really,
the regulatory bodies all said back in 1994, no more vitamins. No more vitamins can be created. So whatever. And so it would be a vitamin if it could be classified that way. But what it does in the body, it helps that. So when the carbohydrates don't convert to sugar, now you're helping insulin spikes to not occur. Inflammation. Bye-bye. I mean, there's these amazing things that happen from it. And we talk about carb offloading at our house, bowel movements. You're just getting rid of carbohydrates. But if I'm getting rid of them, I'm not storing them as fat.
Okay. Here, I can bring this other one. I can bring that one up real quick so I can see what it looks like. There we go.
Yep. There you go.
There's Emulin.
Right there, the top one, starch to sugar conversion. That's a problem in humans. Glucose absorption.
So what happens? Is there an overstimulation of the enzymes that are converting the starches into glucose? Probably because they got such a high sugar intake. Maybe, I don't know.
It's all, again, some people are, insulin resistant. And so it starts to, it doesn't allow the sugars to get into the cell to be used as energy. It stays in the bloodstream. We got to get rid of that stuff. And so this is the problem that people have. And so this product actually keeps the carbs from converting into sugar in the body.
Now, have there been clinical studies with this particular product?
Yeah. It goes back to 2015. As a matter of fact, this won't matter to the people here in the US, but in Australia, there's a governing body. It's like the FDA here. It's the TGA, Therapeutic Goods Association. They're probably the most stringent in the world. Let me just tell you. And they have approved Emulin 5, and their claim, we have 12 claims that it does in the human body in Australia. And the TGA has said, yes, you can say it does that because they've done all of the research on it. Pretty amazing.
Oh, wow. Well, it's pretty interesting because I had some and I took it and I felt like, I don't know, I liked it. Let me put it that way. And I'm not sure exactly why. Like if I know that I had a high sugar intake or something like that, I took it and it made a difference in terms of the way I felt, which sounds kind of, I can't explain it, but it's, go ahead.
If you take it before a carbohydrate heavy meal, it will really help. You'll probably experience faster bowel movements and more of them, and less inflammation in the body. That was for me. I've had 6 knee surgeries. My knees have been bone on bone for 30 years. So I get a lot of inflammation in the knees. And I'll say this, coincidentally, my inflammation wasn't there 3 days after starting on Emulin 5. I'm not saying that taking Emulin 5 caused it. I'm saying that no more, I didn't have inflammation on day 3. So I kept taking it.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt good about it when I did take it. For some reason, it was, I really felt like it made a difference. What other one? Do we have another? Oh, we have another product. The fulvic.
Oh, fulvic acid, NZ fulvic.
You talk about it. I'll bring it up.
Okay. So fulvic it's a detox, heavy metal detox. So a lot of people deal with heavy metals. It's all over. And so fulvic acid is like a garbage collector. Just comes I think about it like Pac-Man, just coming out, taking all the toxins out of the body. It does 2 other things though, really important. One, it will kill parasites in the body.
Oh, really?
Yes. And
fulvic acid does?
Yes, it does. Yep. So
if you've
ever had a virus, viruses all come from worms, parasites in our body. So that's a problem. And so it will kill the parasites. Number 2, it will take nutrition into the cells. Literally, because of the molecular structure of it, it bypasses the blood-brain membrane. So it gets the nutrition into the cells where your body needs it. As a matter of fact, over in Australia, they use fulvic acid for crops to be able to get the fertilization techniques, whatever they're using over there, into the actual whatever the fruit crop, whatever it is that they're planting there on that particular orchard. I was really surprised to hear that.
Yeah, this is so true here. Our planet is sick soil, sick plants, sick animals, sick humans.
Yep.
And that is so true.
So the reason this matters, the NZ part, it comes from New Zealand. It's the richest soil in the world. Many, many fulvic acids come from Canada. And Canada, they use bogs. The bogs are created over landfills. That is not where you want to be getting your nutrition from. This is really bad.
These are the kinds of things that, a lot of times you don't look up and you just assume they do the right thing, and they don't do the right thing, and they mislead people. And
they're cheap though when they do it that way, but it's probably not healthy. So
heavy metal detoxification and chelation.
Yep.
These metals can accumulate. Well, yeah, we know that. And so this helps chelate them and get them out of the body because it binds to the heavy metals and removes them from the body. Okay.
There you go.
It neutralizes toxins at a molecular level, protects the organs from oxidative stress, and then that would support the liver and kidney detox. So these are very beneficial products.
Very, very. All natural. Everything about these is 100% natural. What you see on the label is what is in it, period. Nothing else.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
So we're coming up on 29 minutes. I think you have to go, don't you?
I do. Yep. Gotta roll to the next thing.
Yeah, already. Well, we covered most of it.
Holy cow, this has been great.
Yeah, we covered quite a bit. So that's fantastic. Wonderful products out there, worth trying. I have links in the description, and frequently you can talk to a good friend of mine, Stargirl, who's very helpful, and she helps me with promoting these products. So I hope you try them. I'm amazed at the results they're getting from the studies that they're doing. So
Yeah.
that being said,
one thing, Gail, I would encourage people to just try them, see what it does. I don't know what situation people have in their bodies, but really, truly, these things can do something unique in the human body that, and if we're just keeping it real, you know this, we've been flooded over the last 10 or 20 years with pharmaceuticals. And in the United States and New Zealand, they're the only two countries in the world where it's legal to advertise pharmaceutical drugs. As a result, in the US, we have less than 5% of the world's population, but we buy 80% of all of the pharmaceutical drugs in the world because we don't ever talk about natural health. It's all about buy another drug to continue.
Because they wouldn't let us, because the Rockefeller Foundation took down all the naturopaths and the those Rockefellers and somebody else. But anyway, they did that years ago with the.
Because they don't get paid on that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's always all about the money. So
every time. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on, Gail.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Stay in the light.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are, and like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors.
Oh.
I want to bring my good friend Dr. Bowers on. Doc Bowers, if you could turn on your camera, brother. Thank you for coming on here and sharing your wisdom and knowledge. And, I know you're very excited about the things that are taking place and happening and how we're impacting people's health and also their wealth. So the show is yours, my friend.
Thank you, Byron. Welcome, everyone. Let me get on to a couple of things here. You should be able to see the screen, correct, Byron?
Yep, I can. You're good.
Well, welcome, everyone. Tonight, I want to talk about a synergy of a couple different things that are going on. We're going to talk about health, then we're going to talk about some hope, and then we're going to talk about even some potential happiness. And I know that's a pretty bold statement right at the beginning, but I just kind of want us to have an idea of kind of where I'm going to go tonight, which kind of brings us to the next question. All right. Next question then is, why are we here? What's going on? What is it that this is all about? Why were you invited to be on here? I, like you, got one of these calls, asked to kind of check this out. And Byron kind of mentioned something about things that you don't do will haunt you. I actually had the opportunity to do something with this a year prior to when I did, but I said no, right? I just wasn't interested. It wasn't for me, that kind of thing, until the opportunity did come back around, and praise God, it did. So what is this all about? I want to kind of go into and talk about that. And to do that, I want to talk about something at least from the American side. And yes, I know there's a lot of people on here around the world, but I think you'll be able to identify some things that probably are true in your country or in your family or in your community as well. Most of us today, we live in a state of chronic imbalance, whether that's biologically, physiologically, whether it's mentally, whether it's emotionally, whether it's financially, or even spiritually. Our bodies are inflamed. They're acidic. They're undernourished. They are even overstimulated and perpetually stressed and under constant attack. The average person runs on caffeine stimulants like coffee, soda, energy drinks, some form of sugar, and even cortisol instead of the clean cellular energy that we are designed to actually run off of. Therefore, our body digests food inconsistently. We seem to always be running low on energy. Our body sleeps very poorly. When we wake up tired, already ready to face another very similar day. Most of us eat processed foods with unnatural synthetic chemical additives that are in them. We also consume a constant diet, a diet of digital stimulation. We're always being stimulated. The problem with that is both of these have hijacked our vagus nerve's ability to maintain a peace and calm and digestibility and repair state within our body. As a result, we have anxiety, digestive distress, lots of fatigue, lots of brain fog, obesity, and a lot of autoimmune issues, which now have become the new normal, right? And as Byron said, I've been in healthcare for 42 years, and I've seen all of these things just continue to increase and increase and increase. And most of the doctors would probably identify with that as well. And then we as humans, we seek quick fixes, right? We think, well, I can take something, do it really quick and get over this problem, right? And whether it's a drug, whether it's a pill, whether it's a natural supplement, whatever. Here's what we seem to realize. Most of these things seem to always overpromise, and yet they leave people feeling worse in the long run. We mistake survival for health. We mistake productivity for vitality. And the cost of that is a population that is alive, yet very unhealthy, and not even close to living fully as God intended us to live. So we live in a world where peace is rare, not just emotionally, politically, biologically, every aspect of it. We know how it feels when our bodies don't relax, our brain won't slow down, and our energy just doesn't seem to come back. We know what it feels like to not feel healthy as we used to when we were younger, and we blame it on old age. It's not because we're getting older. We simply need to restore our master healing switch back into our body. It's been demuted and turned down and interrupted, and that's our problem. If we can do that, if we can restore that master healing switch, this will help us restore the chemistry of our peace, rebalance the pH in our body, recharge our cells, and reignite the calm command system that gets us out of the fight or flight or freeze mechanism. We can then be able to feel that shift in our body. We'll feel the clarity come back. We'll feel the calming come back. We'll feel the energy come back. We'll feel digestion start work. We'll get better sleep. Everything will seem to start improving, and we'll get that deep sense of internal ease within our body. Why? Because when your body is balanced, your life follows that balance. When your body is unbalanced, which we call stress, then that body reacts to every level of stress that we have within the body. So we all experienced this funny thing back in 2020 to 2023, right? So let me just kind of touch on this really quick. Every one of us faced a perfect storm of problems during COVID-19. It wasn't just a health crisis. It was a societal, economic, and psychological pandemic that hit. It affected the health and medical system. It affected economic fallout. It caused social and cultural strain. It caused government policy challenges to be put forth. There was technology and lifestyle shifts that occurred. And our community and our families seem to always struggle. And then health and financial difficulties are very difficult, or have been very difficult to recover from just that 4-year period. There is a lot of long-term consequences, and most people don't see this. We in the healthcare are still seeing this. There's a long COVID, right? Just 2 days ago, I had a conversation with someone that had long COVID re-exposure again. Millions now live with fatigue, brain fog, and chronic symptoms. The widened health disparities are there. Pre-existing inequities in healthcare and access were magnified. We found where all the problems were within what was supposedly our healthcare system. All of a sudden, there's a lot of distrust in a lot of different institutions that we have. The government, the CDC, the WHO, and even the media credibility took a long-term hit because of all the things that were purported out there. The cultural memory is we have a collective trauma that will shape all of our behaviors, our politics, and our healthcare for decades. The problem with all this was, the bottom line, it was not just a pandemic. It was a multi-system shock to America's body, economy, and soul. And again, this is all around the world. But 66% of the entire world was at stoppage, meaning they didn't work. That affected every dynamic in our planet, or on our planet. However, the good news is there's a new movement, at least here in America, right? And I see it because I get to talk to doctors and people all around the world. People are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they're sick and tired of somebody else telling them what they can or can't do. What do we want to do? We want to take back our health. and we want to take back our wealth. When I talk to people all the time, I ask them who's in healthcare. Everybody's in healthcare. We're responsible for what goes into our mouth. We're responsible for what we do with our body or don't do with our body. But it isn't just the health that we're looking at. When we come up here and we look at over 7% of Americans are feeling financially stressed. We see even wealthy Americans are struggling to even make ends meet. When we see so many people simply living paycheck to paycheck. And it doesn't matter the level of income we have. We're seeing that dynamic that has all happened since post-COVID. The good news is there's now an opportunity to make some changes for us. So I have this slide up here because I want to identify something that I did in research that we saw back a year ago in August when we identified 78.9% of Americans are in one of 4 stages of obesity. The first stage we talked about is being overweight. People go, well, that's not obese. Well, the research shows that once you go past that phase and you go into 32, 33, 34% of the BMI, obesity continues to climb. In fact, last November, almost a year ago, they actually came out with a 5th level of obesity rating, and that is the ones that is killing people, right? So when we look at this, we know there's a lot of problems. Now, I just kind of put up 14 real quick things here, just what's happening in the population that are dealing with these. Remember, this is 8 out of 10 people that you know. 8 out of 10 people in your phone, 8 out of 10 people at work, 8 out of 10 people in your family, 8 out of 10 people in church. Now, granted, that may not be true in every circumstance, but when we look at the statistics, right, hypertension, high blood pressure, depending on the age, 30 to 60% of those are due to some form or level of obesity. Insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, even pre-diabetes now, and diabetes, over 60% of the people. Metabolic syndrome, which is the end game of diabetic conditions, over 35%. Cardiovascular disease, heart issues, 50% of those are in this category. Strokes, tens of millions of people. Cancer, over 10% of all the 103 different neoplasms that we know that cause all these several hundred different cancers are due to obesity. Joint pain, arthritis, muscle pain, lung and breathing issues, sleep issues, chronic kidney disease, gout, urinary incontinence, hormone-related issues, several hundred hormones in the body, skin conditions, depression, mental health conditions. I could go on and on. Here's what's unique about this group and why it really matters. Obesity isn't just one condition, right? It's a root driver of a lot of these conditions, right? In fact, we could go into over 200 and some different conditions, actually 297, that we look at that obesity has an effect on. We know that roughly 1 in 2 American adults are obese, and many of those individuals also are managing at least one of these conditions, if not more. And these issues severely impact not only their health span, but their quality of life. And currently in America, obesity accounts for nearly $200 billion in medical expenses. Let that sink in. That is what we are spending on trying to fix a problem that has been developing in, for sure, the last 40 to 50 years that I've been in healthcare for itself. So my question for us is this: are we positioned to monetize off of this movement? Now think about this. The first question you have to ask is, well, who's already monetizing off of this problem? Us doctors do, healthcare system do, right? Hospitals do, clinics do, the gyms do, anybody, health coaches. So many people are monetizing off of this problem. My question for you is, can you monetize your own health? By taking back your health and you having some control over that and saving your wealth, we're going to show you how these two things can be a dynamic change for you. So what's the craze that's going on in the world right now, specifically in America, right? When we look at the millions of people that are doing this GLP-1, and here's a unique aspect of it. I said this earlier. We're wanting a quick fix to a very long-standing problem, right? And does this work? Yeah, let's be honest. There's a lot of people have great success. When back in 2024, when I was involved in doing some research with this around the world, there are currently going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 174 to 176 of these drugs available in a broad spectrum of all the problems that are there by the year 2035. Think about that, right? The average person who takes this drug, ultimately, they'll tell you this is for life. The problem is people are wanting a quick answer, and this is really not it. Does it have a dynamic effect? Yes. Are there a lot of other problems associated with it? High probability, depending upon your body type, your DNA type, all those things that are there. But when we look at the hardness of what this really is, that is simple, just to put that in your abdomen or your thigh and just give yourself a shot. But what is the problem with it? Here's the biggest problem. Most people are unaware of the black box warning, right? Most physicians don't even have this. It's supposed to be there that everybody knows what the potential of this actually is. And the list, by the way, is continuing to grow. So when we look at what's going on in the world, I come up to this what if concept, all right? And here's what I want to ask you a few questions. What if both these health problems, health issues, and the wealth challenges could be addressed in one solution? Wouldn't that be unique? Wouldn't that be something that's pretty cool to think, wow, I could these two major things, right? What if there were an innovative, I can get that out. What if there was an innovative natural alternative for taking back your health? Which would you choose? Would you choose the easy way that is risking more of what you're doing? Or would you choose the God-given natural way? You or someone you know could transform their health. What if you or someone you know could transform their health and financial status by connecting others to that same solution? Wouldn't that be unique? What if you could monetize these solutions and literally not only change your life, but the lives of people around you? What if there was a natural solution? There is. It's what we call Phix and Phit. There's a whole story about this. I won't go into this tonight. We can get you more detail on that. But these products were actually made by a drug company who was charged with trying to make a drug for the weight loss world back in 2014. The good news is they found the natural solutions, and now we have them available. There's a whole God thing in it and all that. I just want us to understand this, that the Phix and the Phit, of all the things that they have been evaluated against, all right, what we call these diagnostic related groupings, there are zero, I want to reiterate that, zero known adverse side effects. Go ask that about the black box warnings. Go ask that about all the other things that are available out there. That's what's unique about this. So let's kind of look at what these two are. First of all, we're going to talk about Phix. When I say it flips the switch, what I mean is that master healing switch is the vagus nerve, cranial nerve 10, and the vagal system that goes to 1,100 different communication points in our body. It's literally what connects the body to the head or to the brain and makes it work. And when I want to talk about on Phix here, I'm going to tell you that it becomes one with the body. Meaning when you put this in your mouth or it goes into a drink or on a food and it hits those sensors inside your mouth and on your tongue, all the way down the digestive pathway, all the way down the pulmonary pathway, and it turns on those receptors. They go on and turn that vagus nerve, and vagal system on. Now, all of a sudden, for probably the first time in a long time, your body, all the lights are turned on, and you see what your body hasn't seen, or your brain is now aware of what your body hasn't seen or hasn't been able to show it. We can talk about why that switch has been demuted. We can talk about disease. We can talk about trauma. We can talk about lack of sleep. We can talk about sugar, alcohol, smoking, tobacco, fried fatty foods. The list is almost endless of why it becomes demuted as we age. But if this will turn it on, in my 44 years of being in healthcare, for sure, I've never seen one tool like this that does that. We have been looking for it. It takes a lot of work to turn on that vagal system. Some of you have probably done cold plunges. If you do a 20-minute cold plunge, it turns it on for like 2 to 3 hours. If you do a cold shower, a 5-minute cold shower, turns on that vagal system for about 20 minutes. If you go run 4 or 5 or 6 miles, you'll turn it on for about 30 to 45 minutes. This product I'm going to talk about, the Phix, one dose will turn on for over 9.5 hours. Imagine that. That's the hard part, is getting that in your drink, and I'll explain that here in a second. The Phit, on the other hand, is what we call the fuel, the jet fuel. It makes the electron transport chain work 10 to 20 times faster. I'll show you this one when we put it in the water. I'll show you how it actually becomes one with the water. But that's what these two are. By the way, 100% natural, nothing man-made. Yes, man excised or extracted out. 100% God made this in here. So let's talk about Phix, which is the activator. I'll just click this button and you'll just see what happens. You can put it, I prefer water. You can put it in any drink that you want, right? All the research has been here, plant-based, all natural. You just simply squeeze that little snap that's right there, and that goes into your water. And now when you drink it, it hits those sensors, hits those receptors, and it turns that system on. Pick your flavor of drink that you want to put it in. We have people put it on salads. We've had people put it on pasta. We've had people put it on anything. The sensors are in your mouth. It doesn't matter. I prefer the hydrogen in the water personally myself because it's a natural carrier to make that work. Right? So what is Phix? Phix is a standardized isolated extract, what we call mature hops, bitter acid that's pulled out. This thing is so unique. We've never had it before, right? And we could give you all the research when they originally found this in 53. It cost over $1 million a gallon to get it produced back then. This company spent 5 years and $8 million trying to figure out how to get this unique bitter acid out here. And this product Phix, there's basically only three things: the bitter acids, the alpha beta bitter acids, and purified water. That's it. There's no other stimulant. There's nothing else that's in there. It's 100%. And it goes, when I say it becomes one with your body, when it turns that system on, that system is regulated and turned on and makes it work. The multiplier, what we call the Phit, I'll click this little button, you'll see what happens. Just look what happens just by putting these very unique bioflavonoids. They're all plant-based, all natural. There's no fillers. There's nothing else in there. And the hydrogen that's in this water that attracts and attaches to these bioflavonoids, it becomes one. And if I let this go the whole time, you'll see that actually becomes completely full of bioflavonoids. All right, it's actually giving you what you want for energy. How do we know this works? We've done a lot of research on it, and what they do, they tested your basic metabolic rate through the resting metabolic rate and the resting energy expenditure rate. And what we found in the research is that by taking one dose of this a day, you're going to increase that natural burn that your body has to keep you alive. Right? Every second that you're alive, your body is burning something to keep you alive. That's why we say the average person needs to consume so many calories per day. It's different for men and women just because of the different phases of physiology. But there's a level that you have to burn to simply stay alive. That's why people who go hungry and don't eat for days or weeks or months, the whole body starts shriveling up because it's burning the body to make that happen, even the very muscle itself. And what we saw in the research, one dose of this is going to increase your metabolic burn, your caloric burn, by about 600 calories a day. You can do the math. The average calories the average pound is between 3,500 and 3,700 calories. So 3,600 calories, you burn one entire pound a week just by simply drinking this. Now, if you put these two together, which they were designed to go together, now we're going to find something unique, because the Phix itself burns what we call the visceral fat, the visceral adiposity, which is around all of our vital organs. And then the Phit actually burns the subcutaneous fat to help drive that into your muscles so you can burn more fuel. Why is that important for the muscles? The muscles are critical to keep things pumping in our body, and that's where most metabolism post the stomach and the small intestine actually occurs. That's what makes these two products very unique. So, and you can see, if we just let that continue, that thing's going to just be all bioflavonoids by the time we're done. So what is Phit? All right, a proprietary blend of the antioxidant-rich botanicals that are formulated to help that body burn that subcutaneous fat. And it's phenomenal in what we see. There's a lot more things that happen. I'm just focused on the fat side, but I want to show you some of the other things that we do know. When we look at what happens to the oxidized LDL, low density lipoproteins, we know that it is the #1 cause of inflammatory reaction inside the body. If I took the top 200 plus diseases of the body that can happen, we know that there's a factor in there that is due to these oxidized LDLs. It's what gives us that lack of wellness. It's what pulls and sucks life out of us, if you will. And the more that we have it, the harder it is to stay healthy and get healthy. And you can go through the list, you can Google it, and you can find all these things that are in there. That's the component of the visceral fat. What I did when I first saw this, I brought it into my practice. I thought, okay, doc, how am I going to look at what this really does to my patients? Because I knew that the first one, the Phix, was not going to burn weight, meaning that you're going to lose weight. But what I did do when I did all the research as a functional medicine doc, I came and said, okay, let me see what I can literally measure. Now, keep in mind, I have their blood, I have their saliva, I have their urine, I have their stool, I even have their genomic DNA aspect on all the people that I put this on. And I'm going to fast forward, I and a few other doctors, we put hundreds of people on here, and here's the results that we started seeing. The possible side effects, if you will, which are not side effects at all, but are beneficial effects: better sleep. Just think about these when I'm going through this. How much of the people you know or you could benefit from this? Reduce brain fog, reduce appetite, more energy, more stamina, reduce inflammation, increase libido and their outcomes, improve cognition, regular bowel movements, improve prostate flow, increase blood flow, hair growth, smoother skin, calm, relaxed feeling, at peace, improve strength, better focus, better digestion, hormone regulation, hot flash regulation, less urination, overall improved health. We actually tracked 40 different things on the hundreds and hundreds of people that we put this on, and we watch those outcomes, and it's phenomenal. Why is it so unique? Everybody thinks that, well, this kind of sounds like it's a magic elixir, it's a magic supplement, a magic something. No, it's not. The beauty of what this is, when this actually goes to that master healing switch, that vagus nerve and that vagal system, and it turns all those on, that's the beginning of a very unique and very specific component of what happens in each individual body. We're all different. We know there's 140 some different body types. We break them down to 96 different body groupings, ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph, these different categories. And we see that the uniqueness of your body determines your outcome. People say, well, I wanted to get rid of my belly fat. I want to get rid of something else. I go, I can't control that. Only you and God can control that. But the beauty is when you turn on this master healing switch, this is what makes that start working for you. So now my question for you is this. Is there a market? Is there a demand for these type of products? What do you think? I think there is. All right. Here's what we know. Simply put, these products work. And here's the beauty of it. When you put them to work, they go to work in your body. They actually, as I said earlier, become one with you. And now you have that God-given ability to start regaining your health back, right? Oh, the side benefit of that is, yes, there is weight loss, right? Yes, there is increased muscle tone. Yes, there is all these other factors that we talk about. But here's the concept for you to take. I can take back control of my health. I can make that work. So what is MPG? Marketplace Global is the company that we have, that we're talking about. They have a lot of products. These just have to be what we jokingly call the sexy products, ones that are dynamic and moving, because this is going to affect 80% of the people, and there is a demand load for this. There's a lot of other products out there. We can talk about the back office. You can go and you can find all these things that are out there. Here's the issue. Right now is the time. There's never been a better time. When I've done the research and gone back all the way back to the 1960s, when there's less than 1% of the population even dealt with any type of obesity, and now we're almost 8 out of 10, there's never been a time like this, right? And as Byron said at the beginning, that timing, that's the unique aspect of what this is. Our difference is we have products that actually work, right? And the timing isn't just in America, the timing's around the world. And you can be one of the first ones to take this to market, right? There's no need to give up your job. There's no need to make hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment into this. The difference is this. You get to join a movement where people are taking back control of their life, their health, and their wealth. And that's what we like. This thing goes all around the world, all right? There's a lot of different things in it. You can build an international business. We can show you it's in New Zealand, it's in the Philippines, United Kingdom, South Africa, Australia, Botswana, Canada, United States, and we're going more. Let me kind of tell you this here real quickly. I live in Wichita, Kansas. Wichita, Kansas, we have about 500,000 people in our metroplex, right? If you just took the 80-some thousand people that have got in this business in this year that are involved in that, you could put all of those people in 1/6 of the size of Wichita. That shows you the opportunity that's available. I know a lot of you around the world haven't been to Wichita. It's a nice town. It's a great town. But 1/6 of our city, you can put everybody in MPG in this city, and it's wide open, folks. That's the beauty I want you to see. I want you to understand. So there's a very unique aspect of how we earn money. There's a lot of different ways. I won't go into detail with that. The person invited you can go to that. But let me just kind of put it in this concept real easy. There's only 2 lines that you can get in, right? You get in, there's only 2 lines that you're going to actually help build by sharing this with other people. And that's beautiful because now you're going to have teams of other people helping you as you're continuing to go down. That was one of the things that I missed out on. I'll explain that here in a second in the beginning. So one more question. Are you ready to leverage what we are now calling the share economy? Not we, but what the world's calling the share economy. Social media, everything that's out there, people are learning how to share things, right? You think about what's happening in our world, how much stuff is operating on the social media. It's that easy. You can literally build a multi-million-dollar business, if you so choose, just in the palm of your hand because of all the tools that we have, all right? So people say, all right, Dr. Ben, what's it take to get involved? Well, we have 2 different ways I want you to look at. Number 1 is the Phix, all right? You can involve the Phix. It's basically a $240 investment. The biggest thing you have to understand is will these products give me results that I would go spend hundreds of dollars more? And we did a lot of research on this within our clinics of the people that we were dealing with this. Here's what we found. First of all, you're going to get 87 different doses that are in here, all right, at wholesale. At retail, you're saving about $60 on this. In the course of the time that you would use those, you're going to save that kind of money. So first of all, it's a great benefit. Now, if you go, well, I don't want to get involved in the business, great. You can buy a retail from the person who invited you to this meeting. But I'm going to encourage you to think about this, because not only are we offering you a chance at health, but a chance at saving wealth, even if you don't go out and build that. The second phase you can get involved in is buying the Phix and the Phit together. That's about a $270 investment. And so the biggest question that I had to answer when I was looking at this is, what type of information do I need to make that $240, $270 decision? I don't want to overanalyze. I don't want to wait. I don't want to be slow to make that process. Here's where I want to come back to before I finish up as I'm landing the plane here. When we actually talk about timing, as Byron was talking about, if this was my friend Jeff who talked to me, and if this was Ben instead of Bob, I had the opportunity to get in right there at the beginning with him. Now, what's interesting is Jeff would have brought in Sally and James and Mary, and then Sally would bring in a couple people. James would bring people. Mary would come in. If I would have got in when I got in, I'd been sitting there right there at the top. But because I hesitated, or because I waited, or because I just wasn't sure, and I need to do some self-analysis or whatever I had to do, I missed that opportunity. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about. If you see enough information, I'm going to encourage you to do at least a couple things. Number one, make a decision. I either do want more information and I want to get involved, or I don't. Tell your friend, hey, sounds great, but it's not for me. I just don't want to do that. Just be right up front about it, right? Nobody wants to, kind of badger or be badgered and those kind of things. Just make that choice, that decision. And if you want more information, guess what? We'll get you that information. So I want to invite you. I want to invite you into become the person who is responsible for your health and your wealth. There's no better time that we have found right now. We think it's going to continue to get better. As we are more involved, there's more opportunity that's coming. And I just want you to understand that you are asked to to make a decision and to get involved with this. Come take back your health.
I'd like to introduce you to an important part of your body called your vagus nerve. This nerve is amazing. It is attached to the back of your brain. It travels down through your throat and interacts with all of your major organs. You can think of it like an information superhighway. So messages come from your brain and they go into the organs on this path, this nerve, and then messages also go from your organs back up into your brain. It's an amazing process that happens. Now, when we stimulate this nerve with sound, it has the effect of sending very specific messages to your brain to produce things that can help you. I call these feel-good chemicals. These are dopamine, oxytocin, nitric oxide, endorphins, and even this stuff that's really good for your brain called acetylcholine. What I'd like to do is show you how to do the stimulation, a very basic exercise that I call brain humming, and then we can experience it, and we'll talk a little more after the experience. The way we get started is I need your hands like this, and we're going to put them on the neck very gently. The way we do the humming is we inhale a full breath, and then we exhale that breath, making the sound hmm. Doesn't matter what the pitch is. It doesn't matter if you're in tune. None of that stuff is important. As long as you're making the vibration, it's going to stimulate the nerve. All right, so here we go. Very gently hold the neck, breathe in, and then good. You might feel a little bit of vibration in your hands. This time, see if you can get your volume up a little bit without straining. Okay, a little more volume creates more vibration. Ready? Good. Now, if you're comfortable, I'd like you to close your eyes and let's do a few more together. Notice how it makes you feel when we're finished. Ready? You can close your eyes if you like. I'll do that too. Breathe in. Again. focus on the vibration, that feeling in your hands. A few more. And one more time, breath in. Very good. Rest your hands, take a breath in and let it go. Now I want to invite you just to take a few moments in quiet with your eyes closed and notice how your mind feels. Notice your body. See if anything has changed from when you first started the video. Take a few seconds. And let's breathe in together again. And let it go. Vagal nerve stimulation is one of the best things you can do for your health. When we stimulate this nerve, we do something called strengthening vagal tone. You could think of this like making the nerve a little bit stronger. But also, vagal tone has everything to do with your resilience to stress. So for someone who's not well, their resilience to stress and outside noises and even bright lights can be diminished. What we're doing by stimulating this nerve is helping to make it stronger, which thus helps to create a resilience in you to stress. Nice work.
Lots of lives. As a matter of fact, since we launched a little extract about 16 months ago, 80,000 plus people have joined us. And there is a very strong reason for that. And hopefully you see what that is, in fact. And so with that, I wanted to go ahead and get cracking. Again, my name's Terry, and I'm living in the Las Vegas area. I'm a pastor here. Been a pastor for about 9 years. But prior to that, I was an entrepreneur, still am an entrepreneur. So I like creating income outside of ministry stuff, like kind of like Paul did, you know, he's a tent maker, things like that. And that's the way God has wired me. So a long time ago, I saw some people that had this lifestyle. I mean, when I was a young kid, saw this lifestyle of people who had residual income, this thing called residual income I had no idea about. I just knew that they had a lot of time and a lot of money. And that's what I knew. And they looked different. They lived different than everybody else. And that was the very unique thing. And so when I saw that, I thought to myself, man, there's something different about how those people live. And I couldn't figure out what it was. Over time, I realized that the majority of them were entrepreneurs. And so they had their own business. I was like, hey, that must be the way to do this, because I worked at IBM as well. As I moved up, you know, got a little older in life in my early 20s, I started at IBM, and I heard all these guys at IBM talking about working there for 40 years, wearing that like a badge of honor, which is cool if that's what they wanted to do. But I'm looking at their lifestyle versus these other people, and I'm thinking, man, I don't know, man, business ownership looks to me to be the way to go, even though I had a job, and something in me was like, I should really be an entrepreneur. But I had no idea how to do that. I had no idea what that meant. I tried some things, failed horribly bad. I mean, it was not good at all. And that was, for me, 2 decades of a lot of failure. I mean, a lot of failure. And then finally, I guess 25 years of it, I finally got it figured out. But it took me a long time. Now, why am I saying that? I'm saying that because of this. We then were able to get into a situation where we were able to create residual income through a travel entity, which was epic. I mean, epic, because we had our freedom. We had time and money together. I wasn't chasing one for the other anymore. And so that was fantastic until it wasn't, because we were in the travel space, and then COVID hit and all of that went away in one day. Holy cow, did that suck. And because we had residual income and lost it, Now I had this burn to get it back. I was trying all kinds of different things. And what I realized is it's not so simple to find something that creates residual income. That's what I found. I'll bet some of you found the same thing. And if that's you, put a one in the chat if you're somebody who's tried to create residual income but hasn't quite figured that out yet, and you're still trading time for money but don't want to do that anymore. If that's you, put a one in the chat, because that's what we're looking for, is people who would like more control over their finances, more control over the decisions you make in your life, not because someone else is telling you, but because you want to do it. You're passionate about it. The other type of person we're looking for are people that happen to want more control over their health. You want to live a healthy lifestyle. Don't want to be taking drugs, want natural stuff maybe, but we're not in on big pharma and all the things that, because here's what's up, if we're just keeping it really real. You know, if the drugs that big pharma gave to people, sold to people, in essence, made them better, the people would quit buying their drugs. But I don't see people getting better when they're taking their drugs. You know what I'm saying? They just keep doing it. So if that is not your jam, but you like to be healthy, this could be for you as well. So about 3 years ago, this company called Marketplace Global launched. At the beginning of this, we had a marketplace. The idea was we could bring products and services in that brought value to human beings. And if we could bring enough good products that people would buy them again, and hopefully share it with other friends if they got enough value out of it. Well, we did that, and we started with the products that we had, and it was good. Don't get me wrong. We had good products. You know, they weren't wow, but they were good. But you can get good products all over the place. But about April 20th of 2024, we get a phone call that changed literally everything. So we were building the product mix, you know, the marketplace. We had different products in different countries and things like that. But then April 20th of last year, everything changed because wow showed up. I mean, wow showed up big. And we got blessed by a pharmaceutical company that had been tasked with developing a weight loss drug 10 years before that, 11 years ago now. And they were looking for a home for this because it wasn't a pharmaceutical. That's what they do. They make drugs. This was not. This was a nutraceutical. And anyway, we became the company to bring that to the world. But when that happened, our focus really shifted into more of all health based. We wanted natural occurring health products that did amazing things in human beings. Well, that led us into starting to look at a lot of different information. And I started looking at some statistics. And here in the US, you can see right here, this was in 2023, it's probably higher than this now. 3 out of 4 adults here in the US deal with a chronic illness, at least one chronic illness. Check it out, 50% deal with more than one chronic illness. That leads to a $4 trillion spend annually. Holy cow. Now, like I said, these things that they're going, you know, the what they call healthcare, it's not healthcare. Let's be honest. It's sick care, because the drugs that are taken, all the prescriptions, they do not make you well. They don't do that, because that defeats the business model that Big Pharma has. I mean, can we just be adults right now? Chronic diseases are among the leading causes of death and disability in the U.S. What? So this is a huge issue in the U.S., and we happen to be the richest country in the world, you know, with all this affluence and wealth and all this stuff, but we're the sickest country in the world. Guess why? Because here in the United States of America, big food and big pharma want us sick and overweight as early in life as possible, so that they can get us on drugs and keep us on drugs for the rest of our life. Why? Because it's big money for them. Check it out. I can prove it to you. One of the leading causes of the chronic illness is sugar that we take in. That's in the food supply, gang. Processed sugars and simple carbohydrates. We take in loads of them. Why? Because they're cheap and they taste good. Well, turns out they really suck for health in our body too. They lead to a lot of diseases, man, diabetic issues and all kinds of other things we're going to talk about in just a second. But this is not good. It's one of the 3 leading things that lead to chronic illness. Too much sugar in the diet. And by the way, those simple carbohydrates, they're all sugars. If you didn't know that, go take a nutrition class, read this stuff, check it out. Then there's inflammation in the body, and that sugar leads to inflammation in the body, just so you know. And you got acute inflammation, you got chronic inflammation. Acute inflammation, you break a finger and it swells. Okay, that's acute inflammation. Body's trying to heal itself. Chronic inflammation, you are always inflamed. That's about your diet and your lifestyle and all these other factors. And if you have inflammation, it leads to all kinds of not good. Really, you're going to see a slide here for just a second. Here's part of what it does. The other biggie, guys, visceral fat. That's the deep down tissue. It hangs out around your organs and your torso. Really, really unhealthy. Now, then you got your abdominal muscles right there, and then you got the subcutaneous fat on top of that. That's the jiggly stuff that we all want to get rid of. But look at this. Look at what visceral fat is. It's a dangerous active. It's an active fat. Listen to this. It wraps around your organs. This is not good, gang. If you have too much visceral fat, it's impacting your whole operating system. And look at what it leads to: heart disease, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, and stroke. So these three things right here: too much sugar in the diet, big pharma. Then you got inflammation from our diet and lifestyle. And then you got that leads to visceral fat. And all those things lead to chronic illness, for which we pay $4 trillion freaking dollars a year for the drugs to help us once we get in the condition. Come on. So all of a sudden you start looking at what visceral fat and inflammation lead to. None of it's good. Go look. Don't believe me. I'm a pastor. What do I know? Go look for yourself. That's what I did. And it came up with all this. Look, when you have these things going on, this is the root cause right here. These are the symptoms, your stroke, your garden variety cancer down here, pancreatitis, who needs a pancreas anyway? Pulmonary disease, gynecological abnormalities, nerve issues, gout, neuropathy, things like that. Hey, visceral fat and inflammation. If we could go deal with these guys back here, perhaps we could help millions of Americans with these issues over here. So let me ask you, I've been having some fun, but that's a lot of data right there that really sucks. But if we had a product, a naturally occurring extract, and other natural products that deal with these issues right here, do you think that some of that $4 trillion might come our way if we had natural products that actually dealt with the issues that cause people to get sick? If so, this next 15 minutes could change the rest of your life. You see, there's this little thing called a vagus nerve in our body. It's a superstar. Almost no one knows what the vagus nerve is. It has nothing to do with doing karaoke while you were here in Las Vegas, okay? It's the 10th cranial nerve right back in this area. You got a sympathetic nerve and a parasympathetic nerve that comes off of that guy. And most people spend their lives over here in the sympathetic state. That's also known as fight or flight. Really, really, really unhealthy. Nothing good happens when you're in fight or flight. Now, look. God designed us to be there for seconds or minutes, but not hours a day and not daily. That's not how it's supposed to be. Your body's kicking out cortisol, which keeps you overweight and stressed out, and adrenaline and other things. And so all your body is your body's on high alert. It is really unhealthy. However, there's another nerve there that's called the parasympathetic nerve, otherwise known as rest and digest. If we can help people live over here, whoo, all kinds of great health benefits come from that. Now, look, the medical community has been looking for decades for anything that would do this, that would move people into rest and digest. Have not found it. Still haven't found it. So we got blessed with this extract that does exactly this. And just so you know, again, go look at the vagus nerve. Please go research it. Don't believe me, okay? Go look at what the parasympathetic nervous system does. So that vagus nerve is responsible for, check it out, 1,100 different processes in the human body. 1,100, including your whole digestive system, your heart and your lungs. So when you start to, and when I'm talking your digestive system, I mean liver, pancreas, spleen, kidney, intestines, all the stuff. And this is where autoimmune issues happen, in the gut. The gut-brain connection, vagus nerve, metabolic syndrome, that's the issue in the gut. If we can impact the vagus nerve, check it out, move you into parasympathetic, digestion improves. This is great news. Your heart rate and blood pressure, the heart rate slows down, it becomes more efficient because blood vessels dilate. That's great because now more of your body is getting more blood flow more efficiently. Boom, that's great news. Got all kinds of other great health benefits that come from this, guys. So again, go check it out. Now, as it turns out, the little extract that I'm talking about is called matured hop extract. Now, that literally comes out of the hop flower, the same hops that's used to make beer, those hops. But this is a very specific extract that comes out of the flower, that little guy right there. And these are what's called a matured hop bitter acid. It's really important. If you don't want to believe me again, that's fine. If you need to go do your own research, that's fine. But do the right research, okay? You can jump on Amazon right now. Some of you are probably already doing it. Hops, okay, let's go see what hops is all about. And you're going to see hops on Amazon. This is not that, okay? It's not that. Hops have been around for decades. Naturopaths have been using that for anti-anxiety stuff for a long time. That's not this. This is a very specific extract, matured hop, bitter acid, and it's that part that matters. So it was first extracted back in 1953 by a company that was able to do that, isolate it, cost $1 million to produce a gallon, so there was no way to bring it to the market. A handful of other companies been successful at extracting it. That's not the issue. Problem was, it was like $500,000 to $1 million for a gallon. There was no way to bring it to the market until this pharmaceutical company a few years ago was able to figure out a way to extract it at pennies on the dollar. That's where we come in. Because see, we do this little thing called a snap. It's an easy snap and it doesn't look like much. I will give you that. But this guy right here, only 2 companies in the United States of America actually do this packaging, and we are one of them. And because we are one and had a relationship with that pharma company, because we were already doing packaging for them, we got to be the company to take this over and bring it to the world. Why? Because it is a nutraceutical, not a pharmaceutical. Really important. And so now you begin to understand we are the only company in the world with this, but it's what it does in the human body that is so amazing. All the clinical trials, you can go back 7 decades now, shows that it burns visceral fat. That's great news. That deep down tissue, it also stimulates the vagus nerve into rest and digest. So this one little guy right here does all of that because it is an activator, okay? This is not a stimulant. It is not a drug. Okay, what does it activate? That's the question. Well, we take a little bit of that stuff, we squirt it into any beverage, hot or cold, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, doesn't matter what you put it in. Put it in your beverage and enjoy. That's all you do. Again, decades of research, one extract, matured hop bitter acid and purified water. That is what is in there. And like I said, it is an activator. This is really important, guys. You see, in your tongue, esophagus, and small intestine, God Almighty put in you something called bitter receptors. They're there to receive, to acknowledge anything that is bitter, okay? Poisons, most poisons are bitter. That's why they're there. If you have ever had food poisoning, you know exactly how bitter receptors work, right? You got stuff coming out both ends. Why? Because a substance entered the body and those bitter receptors went on high alert, and it shuts down the metabolism of any calories, and it starts to analyze what entered the body. And when it decides that it's a danger to the body, it starts to expel it. That's what happens every single time. And if you've had food poisoning, you know now what it was. Well, when those bitter receptors go on high alert, they send a signal to something called your BAT, your brown adipose tissue. This is your good fat. Everybody's got good fat, got bad fat. The good fat, that stuff gets activated. That's going to send a signal to the brain. And through that vagus nerve thing, that's going to send a signal back down to the body that says to it to burn white adipose tissue or visceral fat. Why? Your good fat is going to recruit your bad fat for the energy needed to do this analysis of this bitter acid that has just entered the body, thinking, is this dangerous to us? So you start burning visceral fat. That's great news. Now, the other cool thing is your body's going to quickly realize this is not a poison, okay? It's not, just so you know, but it is a bitter acid. So everything's going to calm down. Those cells that are working on that, kind of like, okay, everybody back to your jobs, start metabolizing the calories again, let it in, oh, no problem. And when that happens, gang, that parasympathetic nerve kicks in, whoo, and you move into rest and digest for hours. That's why this is so unique. When people do a cold plunge, it's the exact same thing. It's a different catalyst. Cold plunge, body temperature plummets. What happens? The BAT gets activated because the body thinks it's going to die. So all of a sudden that gets activated. It sends a signal to the brain through the vagus nerve back down to the body. It says burn up white adipose tissue. Same way. But in that case, it's going to create a thermogenic response. What is that? Heat. Shiver. You're going to shiver to warm the body back up, to save its own life. And it works every single time because your body is wired that way. This is a response. It's a response to a catalyst that causes the body to do what the body is wired to do. Really important. Now, why does all this matter? Because in addition to burning visceral fat, you may feel some additional side effects, okay? Got to be aware of the side effects. They're all benefits. But you might experience better sleep, reduced brain fog, reduced appetite, more energy. Hey, bowel movement regulation, hot flash reduction, hormone regulation. All these things, guys, are symptoms or results of the vagus nerve moving into rest and digest. Now, listen, I am not claiming any one of you will have any one of these. What I am saying is, of the 81,000 or so people that have joined us, tens of thousands report one or more of these results. So if you like what you're seeing here and some of this appeals to you, you should try Phix. I'm just saying, check it out and see what it does in your own life. Now, remember, we're a marketplace of products. So after that, we started looking for more products, and this guy showed up. Now listen, this is Emulin 5. Again, all natural. It's 3 flavonoids out of nuts and berries, in essence, ascorbic acid, vitamin C, and a probiotic. Okay, all natural stuff. That's all that's in there, by the way. The team that did the research on these 3 flavonoids and what they do in the human body, that team was nominated for a Nobel Prize for this work right here. Think about that for a second. That was around 2015. Now, had this been discovered before 1994, you would be looking at an essential vitamin. Literally, there would be a recommended daily allowance for this because it would be a vitamin. But in 1994, the regulatory body said, hey, no more vitamins. You can't make any more vitamins. You can't create that. We don't get any money out of that. You got to make them something else. So that's what's up. But that's how cool this thing is right here. But look at what it does. Carbohydrate metabolism, those sugars, remember, helping the sugar levels in the body, and inflammation reduction. The 3 biggies that lead to chronic illness. This guy takes care of them. You start taking Emulin, bye-bye inflammation, bye-bye insulin spikes, bye-bye. And then your body's going to take 33% of those simple carbohydrates and move them right out of the body so they don't convert to sugar and don't get stored as fat. That's good stuff right there. So we have another product called Phit. Won't touch on this too much. Just know this. This has been formulated to increase the resting metabolic rate by, check it, 35%. And this goes after the subcutaneous fat. So you're going to burn the jiggly fat and you're going to increase your resting metabolic rate. That's the number of calories you burn while at rest every day. You're going to bump that up by 35%. And it's really simple. We put a little bit of the powder in water and it turns into basically raspberry tea. And it's all plant-based again, all natural, no fillers in this as well. And if you could just imagine burning 35% more calories. For me, I went from 1,200 calories a day to 1,800 calories a day burn. That's 600 calories a day times 7 is 42. Well, let's just do times 5. All right, 3,000 calories. And so all of a sudden, that's about a pound that I'm burning of subcutaneous fat. That's good news over the course of a week. So you can imagine what this does over time. So we've got these 3 products that literally go after the issues that are plaguing society. So the question, is there a demand for this, for real? If we could deal with the visceral fat and inflammation, if we could reduce or eliminate these root causes, do you think we might be able to help a whole lot of people with these symptoms that come from it? I'm telling you, the answer is a resounding yes, because we already see it in all the testimonials. Now, there's also the skinny shot out there, of course. You know, people race into that because they get into their unhealthy state over months and years, but they want out today. You know, I got to get me in shape. How do I get out of it? Give me that skinny shot right there. And they start taking that. Why? Because you see really popular people, you know, on TV saying what a great thing this is. What they don't tell you is, yeah, you're going to lose fat, but you're also going to lose muscle, bone, water, and organ tissue. Not good at all. So maybe that's why there's 2,000 lawsuits against the manufacturer of these things now. I don't know. Point is, Big Pharma is promoting these because they make bank on this stuff. What if the products we have, and a whole lot more, what if we had these products that actually get real results in human beings? And what if they had no known adverse side effects? Do you think people would be interested? Do you think? I'm thinking yes. Cool thing is we have an app literally that will do everything for us. All you got to do, copy, paste, send. Literally, it has videos like this in it, testimonials, all kinds of other things. Then we have something called Campfire, and you can put people in that. It's like a Facebook group, but it's closed. It's ours, and we can get people all kinds of information. You don't need to know all this stuff. You just need to get them to the information. Literally, we have taken the scary out of sharing this. I mean, literally. And then we can share this with people in every time zone, gang. So you can get paid 24/7, literally 24/7, every hour of the day. Could you imagine? Just watching your back office go up and up and up and up because you got people all over the world that are sharing with other people all over the world. That's what this becomes. So 2 minutes and I'm done here. How do we monetize this? How do we make money? Because all y'all honestly are doing something for money. If we're just keeping it really real. Maybe you're doing what you're passionate about. And I would ask you this, is if you're doing that and you're passionate about the thing you do, is it paying you the kind of money that you want in your life? And do you have the time freedom available to enjoy it? Or are you just working endlessly? Or you're that person that maybe is at a job, you're there for now because it pays the bills, but it's not, you're not passionate about it, but you're looking for more. This is a way that you can get time and money together. It's really, really simple. Okay? Here's how it goes. Remember at the beginning of this, I said we have built a marketplace to bring products into that brought value to human beings. Well, we've done that. Now, as more people share with more people, that means more people are getting the products and buying the products. We have a two-team system, and everybody that joins after you, and some of you, depending on the country you're in, it's to be a rep here, a member, it's either $30 or $10 for the year. Just depends on what country you're in. US, UK, and Canada, it's all $30. And outside of that, $10 US for the year, and you're in. So now you got two teams once that happens. And everybody that ever comes in after you on that team has to go on your right or your left. They got to go on one or the other. And as that happens, more and more people join. It does not matter who puts them in, how they get there, when they get there, ultimately where they come in from. It doesn't matter. All that matters is once you're in, everybody after you counts for you. Whether it's 100, 1,000, or 100,000 people, does not matter. And the more people that are there on your teams, the more products are purchased that they find value in. They buy the things that they want. Every bit of that creates volume. And as the volume goes up, so does your income. So more people on your right and your left teams that are buying more products create more volume. And every $100 in volume on your left, matching with $100 in volume on your right, pays you $20 to infinite levels. It never, ever, ever stops. Ever. You just keep getting paid. 10% to infinite levels. Then we have a 7-level check match on top of that, which I will not get into. We have videos on all of that in that campfire thing I talked about, and you can go check out all that stuff in there. But point is, that is an uncapped check match. You can make as much money as you like here. Literally, there's no limit to the amount of money you can make. So if you like that idea, you should say yes to your friend. Here's how it goes down. Like I said, it's either $30 or $10. Depends on the country you're in. We have a different mix of products in every country just because we have different regulatory issues, licensing, logistics, cultural issues, all kinds of stuff. Point is, it's the same business, regardless of what the product mix is in your country. Same business. And the most popular enrollment kit is the $200 kit. You get 87 servings of Phix. By that time, you will know exactly what's going on into and for you with this product. And you can take it twice a day, once a day, totally up to you how you roll with that. Most people take it twice a day because they want a faster result. Most of all the clinical trials were all done 1 serving per day. So get back with the person who invited you, let them know which, if you're ready to get started, let them know. We have different enrollment kits. Your friend can explain all that to you, but it's about getting started. Take action. If you like what you're seeing here, you want to get ahead of the curve because 80,000 people is nothing. I mean, literally nothing. We haven't even gotten started yet. So if you want to get ahead of the other, in my opinion, millions of people that are going to join. Why? Because we have a product or products whose time has come. And in that, we introduce that into a world that is overweight and under healthy. And I'm just telling you, a lot of people are open to that conversation. So with that, I appreciate you guys being on, and hopefully you've gotten something out of this. And I do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Feel free to invite people back. It's the same Zoom link. As a matter of fact, yeah, I can do that this week. So at least for Wednesday. So with that, I appreciate you guys being on. Get back with the person who invited you. If it's not for you, please let them know that too. Just say, hey man, thanks, but no thanks. It's not for me. I hope you crush it. Let's just be adults. But if it is for you, get yourself started. Let's get you registered and start sharing it with your friends. So with that, thanks a lot, guys, for being here. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great rest of the day or night, wherever you happen to be.
It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, also known as Sheree Talaya. And that is my Earth mission name. And I'll tell you a story about that at some point in time. But anyway, tonight we're diving into the forgotten foundation of health, super trace minerals. And Fred's here back to break down what they are, why they matter, and how they can change your life. So let me bring Fred on. We were going to have another guest who's a regular listener, and the reason we don't have pictures, right? I mean, we got a picture, but you're not seeing our live face, is we're having some problems with some technical problems. So that's why it is the way it is. But let me bring Fred on. So hang on. Hi, Fred.
Well, hello, Gail.
Nice to see you. I can't see you in person like usual, but it's just been one of those nights. I don't know, one thing after another. So,
well, at least we're sharing pictures tonight. So there you go.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, I was going to say Michael was one of our listeners, had an amazing story that he was willing to share, but he was having audio problems and we couldn't get it fixed. So I'm just going to tell you basically what he told me, and I was going to have him expand upon it. But nonetheless, since we couldn't get his audio and phone to work, he had shared with me that his pain that he had literally disappeared in just 3 days after starting the super minerals. And if I remember right, Fred, and correct me if I'm wrong, he did do the super boosters in order to
Yes.
get to that point. So sometimes if somebody isn't having, isn't feeling anything or noticing it, they probably need to increase the dose. Would you agree with that?
Well, they would need to do the booster drink, which is in the brochure that is sent out with all the minerals. They would need to do the booster drink first thing in the morning, because that is what will really energize your body and start the detoxification, and it will give you a boost of energy, and it will start that whole process of healing. So a lot of people, that's what I really recommend for people when they first get on the mineral scale, is that they start out, with the treated water and the booster drink, and then they can go to the third stage, which is the mineral bath. They can do that later. All three are awesome together, but like for example, one of my distributors hired a health clinic to do some studies with the minerals, and all they did was just stage 1 of the protocol, and that is just adding 1 teaspoon of the minerals to a gallon of water. And the people were drinking that, and in 90 days of just doing that, not doing part 2 or part 3, in 90 days they had decreased the amount of lead, mercury, and arsenic in the body by 92% or even more. But you see, it can take longer if you're only doing the treated water. So that's why, like, I got my healing, and my 3rd day is when my arthritis in my hands completely went away 100%. And that's what Michael was experiencing on his 3rd day as well. But we can't guarantee that. But if you're taking the booster drink, it speeds up that process considerably.
Well, I think what's going on is that we are so depleted of minerals right out the gate that people don't have any additional supply in the body waiting to be there as ready to use as needed. Let me put it that way. And I would say that the minerals are really like the spark plugs of life.
Oh, absolutely, they are. Yes.
And we've had depletion in our soil and water, so it's no wonder that people are depleted in minerals. They're just not getting the minerals that we would normally get from water or from food.
Right. Well, since the 1930s, 40s, and on, when the farmers really started using all the fertilizers and pesticides and herbicides and now the glyphosate, heaven forbid, but and that has reduced the minerals that's in our soil. It has taken it down. So
Yeah,
that when we're growing our fruit or our vegetables, they're not taken up into the plants
it's
and into the
partly,
food.
I think it's that darn glyphosate because it binds the minerals so they become unavailable to the body or the
Well,
soil or anything. It just like it binds them up. Now, what's beautiful about these minerals, they also remove glyphosate from your water if it's in your drinking water, correct?
That is correct. Absolutely, it does. And I do have the lab reports proving that and showing the results of that when you add our minerals to water that has glyphosate in it, then that can be neutralized and removed from that water. And not only from the water, but it's removed from our bodies as well. When we drink these minerals in our water, our treated water, then we are actually removing a lot of different toxins, and glyphosate is one of them.
Yeah, and Fred, I had a hair analysis done not too long ago, maybe last year or so, and I did have glyphosate in my body. It came out in the hair analysis. So I'm hoping that the super mineral water is helping it to remove it from my body. What I did find there, but I've noticed when I take the minerals, and this is my own testimony, is I have more energy, I have more mental clarity, and I mean, I can't measure that it's boosting my immune system, but I don't get sick, so I think that would be a good
Good
indicator.
indication, isn't it?
And from a spiritual angle, crystalline earth codes align body and soul, and the minerals are almost like codes that our body needs. Because look how many enzymes. I mean, I've heard as many as 300, but I've heard as many as 900 different um, mineral or not minerals
Enzymes.
enzymes are that go on in the body. There's probably even more in that. They're used in everything, in anywhere from metabolism to physiology and so on. So just being able to have them more readily available to the person is really important.
And with the minerals interacting with them, yes, absolutely. Um, right. When I started on the minerals, I was severely crippled, and I've told this story before on your program and past programs. But I was so crippled that I couldn't even make a fist, and I couldn't even raise my arm shoulder high, and to get out of bed, it took 3 pushes to get out of bed. And all that completely changed after I started on the super mineral water. And by the way, I started doing the booster drinks where you add the extra teaspoon per 100 pounds of your body weight to a glass of water that you've already treated with the minerals. And in 5 days, every pain in my body was gone, and I detoxed, such that when I went back to my doctor for my blood work, Gail, and she had the blood work tests done and got the results back. She wondered what in the world did I do, because I didn't need any of those pharmaceutical drugs anymore. my doctor took me off all my drugs. That was 14
You
plus
had a
years
good
ago.
You had a very good doctor,
I
especially for
did.
14 years ago, because most of them would have tried to keep you on the drugs. That's been what I've heard from many other people. But
Yeah.
nature's codes, which are the minerals, are simple but life changing, and you can mineralize your body and revitalize your life. We're really made out of light, and Earth already wrote your healing into her crystalline codes. Um, Mother Gaia did, and problem is we've had different processes that have removed the minerals not only from our water but also from our
From-
soil. So how are we
Yes.
supposed to get what we need, right?
Well, that is exactly right. And it's been tested, like um, my grandparents, when they ate an orange, they got a lot of the minerals and the nutrients. But now today, you eat an orange, it would take 10 oranges today to equal the nutrients that my grandparents got on a single orange. I mean, that's how bad it has gotten over the years because, with all the pesticides, herbicides, um, glyphosate and all that added, it removes the nutrients from the soil, which no longer allows them to be taken up into the plants, whether it's vegetables or even fruit trees. And it's not taken up anymore because they're gone. And if they're gone, it takes far more vegetables or fruit to replace what used to be there in the first place.
Yeah. Well, one of the other things that came out just recently is that the body doesn't hold H2O, it actually holds H3O, and that's what you find in fruits and vegetables. But you used to also find a lot of the vitamins and minerals that we need, and that has changed drastically. We used to get water from, like waterfalls and streams that were running, used to be mineralized too. But with the things that have been done on this planet in the name of um, big agriculture, um, a lot of things have been done that actually have been very harmful to humanity.
Yes,
And
that's true. Mhm.
and when we look at it, it's when we look into that in any depth, we can honestly say that they don't like us very much. It seems like they want to get rid of us.
Well, I've heard that. Yes, I've heard that.
And I'm saying it very nicely.
Yeah, you are, Gail. You're diplomatic tonight.
Okay, so and sometimes I'm not so diplomatic, but I'll stay diplomatic tonight. Anyway, I just think that there's so much that people could benefit from this. I hope that people will try it. And if anybody out there in the audience has any questions, please feel free to ask. Like I said, I wish Michael was here, but we just had so many problems. That's why Fred and I are appearing in the way that we are, because we were we were just having difficulty with the program. So anyway, moving right along, I would encourage you to try this and be sure you use an adequate dosage, and I think you'll be really amazed.
Well, Gail, why don't we tell them where they can learn more about these minerals? It's called Super Mineral Water, and they can go on our website. And I don't know if you still have the link there, but
Yes, I do. Let me put it up there right now.
Okay.
There is vitaliausa.com, and you also have third-party lab results, testing lab results, which is pretty amazing. A lot of people don't do that. But this particular, your company does, and it, just like you said, we're saying about the glyphosate, it shows it being removed. I mean, there's a significant, same with arsenic, same with lead, same with the other.
Mercury. Oh yeah, hundreds of toxins. Even pharmaceutical drugs are removed from the body. And, pharmaceutical companies don't like us talking about that, but it is true, it does. And we have the lab reports proving it. But Gail, the other thing about that VitalaUSA.com website, if people go there and they do decide to order, then what I have done is I programmed into that website, when people go to check out to purchase a bottle of the minerals, if they put in a coupon code of GOG, stands for Gale of Gaia, GOG, as a coupon code, they're going to get a discount off the price of the minerals. So that's just kind of a little secret that nobody knows unless they listen to your show, Gail, because I put that up in honor of you.
Thank you, Fred. That's very kind of you. I love the product, and I'll continue to take it. And I'm saying that, and I wouldn't say that if it wasn't true. The other thing, I am running a thing about the Telegram channel. I would encourage you to go to my Telegram channel because I post a lot of things that I can't post anywhere else because they'll take it down. And you need information that they don't want you to have. So that's why I put that up there. So
very good.
And through some deep research and remembering recall, just so you know too, the reason I'm using Sheree Talaya is because I found out what it means and that is my Earth mission name. And it says the actual meaning of the name is she who speaks with waters of the heart and guards the song of earth. Well, I found that rather interesting because I didn't know that the earth had a song. So I'm still working on that information. But anyway, let's see.
Waters of the Earth, Gail, that is awesome because you were given that title before you even knew about these waters that with the minerals.
Exactly. And anyway, I is there anything else that we need to cover, Fred? Because we don't have our guest that was going to be on.
Well, the only thing I can really do is just summarize what these minerals do. It's not just for human consumption, but it's also for our animals, and it's also for our plants and trees and
that's right. I
agriculture.
almost forgot about that. People have had profound results with that as well, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I have many, many stories about the animals and dogs and cats and horses. And, I have a lot of, believe it or not, veterinarians that are distributors of these minerals, doctors, medical doctors, naturopathic doctors. I have many of them, and they've all contacted me to become distributors of these minerals so that they can hand them out to their patients. And I have hundreds, thousands of stories that I could share over these 14 years. Even the veterinarians love to talk, and they've gone on, conference calls with me and told about their experiences with their animals and so on. And I've seen them as well. Even, believe it or not, dogs can get arthritis and they can get crippled.
Oh, I've seen that before. In especially large dogs, they get that hip dysplasia or whatever.
Yes, and my dog was very, very sick, and when I took my dog to the veterinarian way back 14 years ago, and the veterinarian thought that my dog may have cancer, and he said, but it was far up in the gastrointestinal area, and he said it was beyond his scope to be able to test that and measure that or prove it, and that I would have to take him to the Michigan State University Veterinary Hospital, but it's going to cost me between $3,000 and $6,000 for them to do that.
Oh my God, who can afford to do that? You can't even afford to do it for yourself, let alone your dog.
So anyway, instead, that's when I first learned about the minerals. So I started giving my dog, my personal dog, the minerals in her drinking water. And in fact, it turned out that my dog far preferred drinking the water that had the minerals in it from the old water that was just from my well. And so if I put down 2 bowls of water, one with just from the well and the other that had the well water but with my minerals added to them, the dog would always go to the mineral added water. And so I started doing that.
I'm
and
going to
then,
have to try that, Fred. I'm going to put down 2 bowls of water and see which ones the dog drinks from.
Oh, absolutely do that. I even have a video that of that. I had one of my customers decide to do a video to test that, see if it was true. And so she made a video of her dog doing that. In fact, she had 2 dogs, and both dogs went to both bowls, but left the one with plain water and went to the mineral water every time. And it just showed it right on the video. But when I went back to the veterinarian and he did some more testing on my dog, he said, I don't know what happened, but it's amazing. Your dog does not have the same symptoms that it used to have. And I said, well, it's because I started my dog on these minerals that can detox the animal.
Well,
And so
our animals need to be detoxed just like we do. I mean, they're
Oh.
exposed to the same crap that we're exposed to, if you think about it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely true. And so I gave my personal vet for my animals, several bottles of the minerals to try it with his pets. And lo and behold, they were solving health problems with the animals that he did not have any medicine or pharmaceuticals, even veterinary pharmaceuticals, that would help them. But the minerals did help them. And he even had I recall he had one of his patients that moved away out of Michigan and moved to Nebraska. And she called back and said, hey, we can't find these minerals out here. Doc, would you mind sending some to us? We'll pay you to do it, but we got to keep our animals on that mineral because it helps them so much, gives them so much energy and such good health. So anyway, he told me, my vet said, Fred, if you need a veterinarian spokesman about these minerals, I'm it, because I have personally seen in my practice how these minerals have helped so many of my patients that I was not able to help before your minerals. So anyway, so that's the minerals with animals. Another veterinarian has been on my minerals for years, and she has a kind of a sanctuary for animals, and she has dogs, cats, and she has all kinds of animals, even horses and donkeys. She had a horse came to her, and its eye was all glued shut. It had pus, and it was just in really bad shape. So what she did, this vet took a spray bottle of our minerals that was already diluted down with the water, and she actually sprayed it right into the eye that was glued shut of that horse. And the next day, that eye was completely normal again. And she swears by him as well. She uses them for all the animals that she takes care of. And she has just nothing but really good to say about, treating all of her animals with them. And she's a vet. And then as far as agriculture goes, I think I've shared before, Gail, that, when I first got the minerals, I heard that they were really good for plants as well, and fruit and trees and vegetables. And so I decided to do an experiment. And I may have said this before on your program, but I took my garden and I took half the rows of corn, and I sprayed them with the mineral water. And by the way, what dilution do you use? It's the same dilution as your treated water. It's 1 teaspoon per gallon, and that's what I sprayed on my corn. Well, on half of the entire garden. But my corn, for example, Gail, the normal watered corn was only about 5.5 feet tall, and the corn were only maybe 5.5 inches and they weren't really that great. But the corn that I had sprayed with the mineral water, it grew to be about 9.5 feet tall.
That's quite a big difference. That's almost double the size.
Well, yeah, it was great. And my grandkids used to come over and say, and they love to pick my corn from that side of the corn garden, and said, "Grandpa, you have the best tasting corn of anybody around." Because it was full of nutrients. It was full of water, and so it just made it very, very good tasting. And I have a lot of stories about the plants and trees and so on as well. So.
Well, that's really amazing because they really have done a lot of damage to the earth, to the soil, to the air, and it's affecting everything. It's not just, and we're all connected. I mean, it's affecting the water, it's affecting the air, it's affecting the soil, and it's affecting our bodies and our animals because of it.
That's right.
And if you look into the studies about the glyphosate, I mean, it has contaminated the whole planet practically. And they won't admit that, and they keep arguing and saying that it doesn't really do this, that, or the other thing. But the fact of the matter is, the proof is in the pudding. Yes, it does. And so it's the fact that this is able to remove glyphosate is amazing because I don't know of anything else that can or does.
I don't know either, but our lab reports show that, and has proven that it does indeed. Not only from the water, not only from the soil, if you spray it on the soil, but also from our human bodies, and even the bodies of animals as well.
Definitely. Well, you know what? The body is the temple, and the minerals are the spark plugs. So we need to re-mineralize and revitalize and remember, we are made of light, and Earth has already written your healing code, your healing into her codes. Only her codes have been compromised because of the chemicals that have been used to make those codes, so to speak, unavailable to you. And where there's a problem, there's a solution, and this is a solution to that problem, as well as getting them to stop using products of that nature. But it doesn't seem like we get very far in that regard. So it's not, Fred has all the science on his website to prove exactly what we're saying. And so you've heard the science. You can look up the science.
There's testimonies on the website as well with pictures of the people that voluntarily sent in their testimony and their picture saying, we want to spread the good news about these minerals, what they've done for us. So if you go to that, VitalaUSA.com website, there's a lot of information there. There's and that one veterinarian, her picture is on there and her testimony. And so, you can read some of that. And you could always, there we have a phone number you could call. You could contact us. And if anybody wanted to talk to me or whatever, they could even say right on the website, send an email or to that or text. I'll be glad to talk to anybody about this and help them.
Alrighty, looky here. Galloping Spirit said, I just ordered my 32-ounce bottle with the GOG code, so I'm super excited. And I want to hear back from you and make sure that you, you do the booster drinks. I think I'm inclined to believe just about everybody needs to get a good start with the booster drinks, because
everybody that first starts the minerals needs to do the booster drinks for the first 2 weeks. It will change your life.
Literally, it has. I mean, it's done wonders for me. And now I don't know why, but I need to start adding it to my my dog's water. I don't know why. I think I did once or twice, and then I kind of forgot about it. And she has had some health problems since moving to this area. She's allergic to. She's showing signs of allergies and we're concerned about the possibility of mold in the air here and so on. So anyway, I'm going to get her on the minerals, and maybe we'll have a story about that too. And Galloping Spirit said she will definitely let us know. Well, I definitely want to know. And if anybody else out there who's a listener and they try this and it works for you, please get a hold of me and let me know, because this is so important that I want to have a regular show with Fred about this. And you may be someone I can feature on the show if you want. And or you can just have me, or you can send the testimony in to Fred, however you want to deal with it. We are very open to that, because that's how important this is. We know that everybody's depleted, and everybody would feel so much better if they got remineralized. And remember, your body is your temple, and you have to take care of it, especially now.
Yes, that's very, very true. Because when you get on these minerals, it will detox your body. It will put your body back in what we call homeostasis, back into balance again. And the medical doctor that actually developed the 3-part protocol, he is a cancer surgeon, and he was the head of hospitals and everything. And when he started using these minerals and developed this 3-part protocol, he has personally seen over 50,000 cancer patients completely, made better as a result of using these. And he's written a book about it. I mean, it's not something that I can say the minerals do, but let me explain what he says is really happening. Because the minerals themselves can't heal, cure, or prevent any disease by themselves. But what they do, there's 3 things that they do. Number 1, our body is very deficient in minerals. Like you said, Gail, we just don't get them anymore. So by adding the minerals to our drinking water, then that gets these minerals into our body. So that's number 1. Number 2 is by getting the minerals in your body, it causes our body to detox. The minerals will help to get rid of the toxins and poisons that's in our body, in our organs and so on. So that's really number 2. And then number 3 is stress. The way we live today, the stress in our society and so on, whether it's physical stress, spiritual stress, mental stress, chemical stress, there's all kinds of stresses. But when you put these 3 things together, attacking our bodies, the stress with toxins and with lack of high quality bioavailable trace minerals, it causes our body's own immune system to shut down. And when it shuts down, then our immune system cannot fight off the pathogens that enter our body. And so these pathogens that get in there, because the immune system is not taking care of them like it was supposedly designed to do, and so we start to get sick. And when we get sick, we get ill. When we get ill, we get diseased.
Exactly.
When we get diseased, then, it's terrible. But by doing the minerals, and if you follow the 3-part protocol, and I've only mentioned 2 of them so far in today's call, but the third, the first part is just treated water, adding a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons to a gallon of your drinking water. And the second one was the booster drink. And that's where if you add an extra teaspoon of the minerals to a glass that's already treated with the minerals, 1 to 2 teaspoons per gallon. And if you do that first thing in the morning, you add an extra teaspoon per 100 pounds of your body weight. Like if you weighed 150 pounds, then 150 pounds, that is 1.5 hundredths. So you would add 1.5 teaspoons extra of the super mineral water to your glass of already treated water. And that's what we call a booster drink. That's number 2. And, if you do that first thing in the morning, then you need to wait for, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour before you put anything else in your stomach, because that is what's going to cause your body to detox very quickly. And if you do that, Gail, it's very important that people drink lots of just the regular treated water throughout the day, because that's what's going to help flush those toxins out of your body. And then the third part that I'm mentioning for the first time tonight is the mineral bath. And that's where if you fill up a bathtub with hot, water, and you put anywhere from 3 to 5 tablespoons of the minerals in that bathtub of water, and then you get in and you soak for half hour, 45 minutes, that is going to get into your skin, go through your skin to all your organs. It's an incredible way. I have lots of stories to talk about the mineral bath and what that's done for people.
Galloping Spirit is asking, can you spray on your skin with a spray bottle?
Oh,
Yes, I do that because I don't have a bathtub here.
all right. Oh, excellent question. Thanks for asking that, Galloping Spirit. I recommend, most people just take showers today. Most people don't get in a bathtub, especially if you get older. It's hard to get in, hard to get out, and so on. So what I recommend is getting a spray bottle and putting in that spray bottle your treated mineral water. Your 1 to 2 teaspoons per gallon of water, and pour that into a spray bottle. And then when you're done taking your shower, and this is especially true for people that live in Florida, for example, where they chlorinate your water, it's terrible. And so after your shower, I recommend that people just take their hand and kind of wipe off the beads of water that's on your skin, and then get that spray bottle, spray all over their skin, and then take their hand and just rub it in. And then you can towel dry and so on. That is an excellent way to use these minerals if you're showering. Now, for other people that are in the hospital, where they can't get, they just get a sponge bath by the nurses and so on, this is what I recommend for family members that they can do. And I have had people do this. They take in a basin, a little pan that they can put the treated water in, and or even the water from the hospital sink, but then they add into that basin, a tablespoon of the minerals, and then they have the patient sit on the edge of the bed and soak their feet, or even on the bed and raise their knees up and get their feet into that basin of water and soak in there. And then I also recommend that if you have some pans or some bowls, that you could do the same thing too, and soak your hands in it. Soaking your feet and your hands can take the place of that mineral bath. Amazing what it will do for you.
I haven't tried that yet, Brad. I might have to give that one a try.
Yeah, if you can't get into a bathtub or don't have one, a lot of houses don't even put bathtubs in anymore. It's kind of an old-fashioned thing, I guess. But anyway.
Yeah, I like to soak in a nice hot bath myself, but.
Yeah. But if you do that, that can kind of take the place of it. So, yeah, I have so many stories of people that are using the bathtub or using the sprays. Another thing, Gail, it's not, I don't even think this is on my website, but people, when you do clothes in a dryer and you get that static cling, how they cling to your skin, to your body and wrinkle, and if you take that spray bottle with the treated water and spray over the clothes that have the static cling, that static cling will fall right out.
The what? What'll fall out? Say that again. I'm sorry.
The static cling.
Oh, the static. Okay.
It takes the static away.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And the other thing, people, like if you go to a hotel or something, take that spray bottle with you and spray in the air. Spray right all over, spray it on the surface of the desk, on your bed, on your sheets, and so on, and that will get rid of a lot of that toxic stuff that's in the hotel room as well.
Wow. Then I never thought of that. That's a good one too. Galloping Spirit has another interesting thought. She says, can you add essential oils to the water without depleting the mineral water?
The answer is yes, you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, essential oils, they're a plus. Essential oils are also very amazing.
What a combination.
Oh, it's a big combination. Yes, you can do that. Yeah.
That would be Great.
Yeah, and yeah, you can spray all over your body and rub it in and however you use your essential oils, if you use them along with the mineralized treated water, it's like a 1-2 punch to the bad things in your body.
Uh,
I've had people with really bad skin problems and so on completely heal up with that, and uh, you can't go
Yeah.
wrong. You can't go wrong combining those two things. Yeah.
Now, somebody can't overdose on these minerals, could they?
No, you can't. In fact, one of the guy that was the science guy in our company way back 14 years ago decided to do an experiment where he kept adding and adding and adding the minerals, and he got up to 9 times the normal dose of the minerals to adding to his water, and it still didn't hurt. You can't overdose in it. You really can't. Now, if you were to drink it straight from the bottle, 1 32-ounce bottle will treat 192 gallons of water. So it's
Yeah.
like if you drink straight from the bottle, it's so concentrated that I don't recommend that. I've had people sip it, taste it, and so on. It doesn't hurt them or poison them or anything like that, but it's just very, very acidic and tastes like real sour lemons if you do that. But yeah, you can use these minerals in a lot of different ways. And to answer your question, Gail, no, you can't. You can't overdose on these minerals.
All right. Well, pretty much nature's codes are simple but life changing, and remineralizing your body could revitalize your life, because I keep saying it and I'm going to say it again, is you are made of light, and the earth already wrote your healing into her crystalline codes, and they have been altered, and so it becomes necessary to re-add them to your body, and this is a way to do it. You've heard the science. You can read the science on Fred's web page, and you've heard some of the stories, and there are a lot of stories and a lot of testimonies on the website as well. And these have been third-party tested independently. So I don't know what more you could ask for, but I always remember and remind you, your body is your temple, and your minerals are the spark plugs, and you're made of light. So spark up that light.
Right. And when you go to the website, you'll notice that there's another product on there, and I think you mentioned it in your advertising for this program tonight, and it's called iodine.
Oh, yeah.
And so we do have iodine, and that's a very inexpensive product. It's only $20 on our website, and it's very, very important. And I think maybe in the past I may have told stories how.
I think we need to talk about that next time we have a show in greater depth, because I happen to know that iodine is extremely important, and people are very deficient in that as well.
That's right. That's why we've added these two together. Yes.
And it has an important role in detoxing from radioactive materials. It protects your thyroid. It does all kinds of, it affects your metabolism. It does all kinds of very important things. So we're going to cover that in another show, Fred, because I think there's a lot that we can cover in that regard as well. And other than that, I think we pretty much have covered as much as we need to cover tonight, and unless you have anything else to add.
Well, just one other announcement. I've never made this before. This is the first time you're hearing it for the first time. We are evaluating other products to put on the website. Very, very powerful products. And they will be coming out soon. We're making arrangements to get them in bulk so that we can add them to the website. So be watching for brand new products to come out, and when they do, then we'll announce them on the show, and we'll talk about them and why they're so important to add. Because we're looking for the very best, the highest quality products there are. Because we do want to make our website one that people with various health issues can come to and get help and relief from a lot of different health issues. The minerals are number one. Iodine was number two. And we have a number 3 product coming up very soon.
That's awesome. I'm going to look forward to that, Fred. I'm going to see what else you got coming up, because I love the background that you have on these super minerals, and I hope people try it. You're not going to, there's nothing you can lose. And I guess in closing, I'd just like to say, keep your flame lit, keep your scrolls sacred, and never let the matrix tell you who you are.
Okay.
You are light. And we need to charge ourselves every once in a while, and minerals are the way to do it.
That's right.
So, thank you so much for listening, everyone. And Fred and I will see you again probably in a couple of weeks. And I'm having, just to let you know, I've been having some problems with my ending script, and I probably should also say we're not medical doctors and we're not making any diagnoses or claims of that nature. And we can add, this is for entertainment purposes only, wink, wink. Anyway, love you all out there. Stay in the light, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Appreciate you having me on the program.
Oh, thank you for being here, and thank you for this wonderful product. Thank you.
Okay.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are, and like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our